video statement, and I'm probably bouncing around because each memory brings up an association with a different memory. So that's my Asperger's there. Dr. Cronon, again, I'm going to try to focus on just my work with Dr. Cronon. Dr. Cronon was threatened in a phone call from somebody named Eric at Orange County Courthouse. And I woke up and I said, I don't know who you were cussing out this morning, but I hope you cussed him out for me, for pissing you off and making you yell because it startled me so much I woke up. He said, I got a threatening phone call from the courthouse. I said, you're kidding me. He said, no, it was based on a phone call I had because of a phone call I had with Kim Mann yesterday. He said, something's very wrong. They don't want you here in town. He said, I'm peaked. I'm filing that federal 119 motion. And I'm filing basically he was talking about he wanted to review the records for the purposes of an expungement and sealment. At that time, we didn't know that one of the kids I create exits for human trafficking victims. That's what I've used my special forces skills for all my life. You have to be embedded. You can't be famous. You don't want them to see you coming. Anyway, Chad said, something stinks here. He said, they told your attorney in Bay County, Emily Dowdy, Esquire, that you assisted them. And for whatever reason, nobody did anything. He said, first of all, they could have held a hearing right here in Orange County after you testified and got rid of that warrant. Drop that warrant and let you go. We now know I got on the witness stand with cancer, medicated for pain from cancer, though no diagnosis because I had no health insurance. It happened at Fort Hospital and ORMC too. There's a hospital visit at ORMC from September 1st, 2013, where I present with severe pelvic pain. She prescribed Zithromax. I believe she knew she ruptured that what was probably a very small tumor at the time. And uterine-based ruptures or infections are treated with, are usually strep-based, and so they're usually treated with Zithromax, Cipro, any number of things. But anyway, she didn't tell me that I had uterine swelling that was so obvious. You could see it, from the back, from the front. And I continued to have problems with falling. I had problems at Chad with severe pain that I now know was indicative of uterine swelling from cancer. And they prescribed narcotic pain relief for this pain. I also had a lot of problems with my teeth, and that is pretty much inherent in cancer patients. In fact, here in Arizona, the access plans do not cover dental unless you are a cancer patient. Then you get limited dental coverage. So what Chad and I didn't know at the time was one of my old childhood friends, who's at the time was Darla Munoz. We grew up in Marshall, Missouri, which is part of Little Dixie. A lot of Klan activity. I witnessed a lot of horrible things. Lynchings where they didn't use ropes, they used bullets. They made the victims dig their own graves. And not only did adults participate from the University of Missouri faculty and its affiliates, which could be lawyers, alumni, they made children shoot blacks, gays. Darla was part of that. Her father was Puerto Rican. He had a big, nice, big house in a big, nice white neighborhood. A very, very well-paying job as a local truck driver for MFA Oil. Had 6 kids, and they all lived better than we did, with both my parents working as, that got paid very well, and only having one kid to raise. They had more money than we did. My father, via his work in counterterrorism, counterinsurgency, and so forth, matters of national security, a lot of people were forced to participate that didn't want to if they wanted to keep their mortgages and their jobs in a tiny little town where the governors, police, lawyers, prosecutors, judges, all were involved in this, still are. He had me stand outside the lights, where if anybody looked towards me, all they'd see is a big beam of light, and film these goings on for the purposes of eventually having a sympathetic government that would use these video footages successfully in the prosecution of those who participated. Kids, it's a different story, but the parents still made the kids do it. To my recollection, I was only asked to shoot someone one time. It was a very sweet, innocent-looking black man, and the only reason why my father tried to push it was because these men told my father that the man had touched me in a way that was inappropriate. I knew this not to be true. That man never came anywhere near me. It was just bloodthirsty crap and a way to get me initiated, because my dad never would let me be initiated or indoctrinated. He didn't want me having anything to do with that, with him having been Native American and counterterrorism and NSA. And they call it no such agency for a reason, because half the time they use you for matters of national security and you have no idea. You're on a need-to-know basis in the military. Same goes with any lawyer who employs a legal assistant and they ask them about what would you do if, or what do you think of. They don't need to tell you what they're using that information for. Anyway, I went. I knew I was supposed to. I heard everything that was going on, and I went and I untied him and started running with him, because I knew we were both going to get killed. They found us. They had the dogs, and they made him dig the grave, and I was forced to sit and watch, and I believe I actually had to assist him in digging that grave. And my father put a gun in my hand, and he said, "You shoot that son of a bitch who molested you." And I said, "No, I'm not going to do it. You know better than to tell me no, blah, 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 blah." I looked my dad dead in the face, and I said, "Dad, he didn't do any of the things they're accusing him of doing. I've never met this man. He's never tried to touch me. He's never spoke to me. He's never even looked at me. They've got you all riled up to get you to force you to get me to shoot that man when he didn't do a damn thing to me." My father knew I never said no to my commanding officer, which would be my father who trained me. He went over and started interviewing those in a way that only he could interview them, got confessions, threatened all of them. They ran off drunk in their trucks, and he dropped that man off at his home. And he said, "I am so sorry. We're going to make this right for you and everybody else, but you got to give us time." Now this was, I don't know what year it was. See, all these specific details that I need to remember, I can't do without EMDR therapy. My EMDR therapist is in Columbia, Missouri, and she said, "Until you get cancer treatment, proper medical care, we can't continue this work." And that's absolutely responsible thing for her to do, especially with me being autistic. She said, "I can't sit here and watch you die." And she said that in March, I believe it was March 14th, 2015, after this tumor ruptured and I was hemorrhaging, and I was, you don't want to know what was going on. It was bad. It was external hemorrhaging, internal hemorrhaging. Everybody knew it, but I was being blacklisted throughout the medical community, because in the process of defending myself against their false criminal allegations, I recorded all of my medical exams with Beth Sweeney at Family Health Center, who worked directly with Dr. Joseph Parks, the Mo Health Net Division Director. And we were very smitten with each other. I believe she had misunderstandings about my intentions. She thought that Chad worked for University of Missouri, and I said he would never have any affiliation with that university whatsoever. I told her I loved him very much, and my intent was to get well and go back to continue working with him in civil rights and human rights. I've cried and cried and cried. When I found that obituary, I was looking for his other email addresses. I went into my Yahoo account and saw that all of my sent emails for the past several years were deleted. And I'm like, now what the hell's going on? So I went and looked at Chad Cronon email addresses. I was looking for his Outlook address with UCF. Pull up an obituary and just start bawling right here in the library. In front of everyone. Everyone's looking at me like, what the hell is wrong with her? And I just couldn't speak. And this is important because at the time Chad got that threatening phone call back in 2013 from Orlando. One of the jurisdictions that I assisted was Homeland Security. Darla Munoz is now Darla Munoz Natoloi, and she's a nurse who's been working for Homeland Security since 2008. What I recorded at her home in 2015 was very definite prejudice against me as someone who was gay, someone who has Asperger's. I recorded both her and her husband behaving in a very biased and nasty manner because of those things. She openly and publicly on her Facebook page thought that Kim Davis was a civil rights activist, to be compared with Martin Luther King. They as much as called me, I'm not going to go, I can't even repeat it. But if she had anything to do with my going to prison, probably my guess is they would have, she was on my Facebook. She was a Facebook friend at the time I was waiting to go get on the witness stand. And I kept saying, I testified for Homeland Security. Well, I'm sure she picked up the phone. Why would she do that? To cover up the fact that I witnessed her participating in Klan murders. And the Department of Homeland Security sure as hell hasn't tried to assist me in uncovering this. They've assisted in covering it up. I've had multiple Homeland Security agents approach me, and they've done nothing in the way of putting me in protective custody. As a murder witness against the Mizzou, as a murder witness against Darla and her father. How many murders did I witness? I'm guessing, I can't pull up all the details, but I'm guessing about 46 murders. How many did she and her father participate in? I'm guessing several. Throughout 1975-76, which was right after, Martin Luther King was assassinated, Medgar Evers was assassinated. And my guess is, based on everything that I heard in discussions, I would say there's probably upwards of 1,500 potentially mummified remains of murder victims throughout Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, maybe even Oklahoma and Iowa. Not sure. I can't pull up those details without assistance. Can't do it. It's too horrifying. My friends in Missouri know damn well I've seen this crap because they've seen how passionate I am about what I do. So this is why I've notified the NAACP and the ACLU. And that's all I'm going to say for now.